right, race fans, here we go. We got tonight, man, with the Clean Racing League here. And unique track called a Super Speedway here in Nashville. That's right, country music city here, capital. I don't know, we'll see who plays the tune here tonight as qualifying's underway. Caleb, old Ghost putting it on pole here tonight.
Yeah, and just by 100th of a second over Rob Sherwood at the moment. We still got people out qualifying, but the one to look out for, definitely Lane Holzler. I know he didn't put in the lap he wanted, even though it's 2/10 off. He's still in 14th, but he has 3 wins this season, 2 in a row, and maybe he can make some magic work. Absolutely dominated the last race we were at, Milwaukee Mile. But yeah, very excited to see what happens. They do call it a super speedway, but it doesn't drive like one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact they don't have that banking like they do, like Talladega, Daytona. I mean, it's a big track, and sure, we're going to see, the drive kind of play a factor and all. But like you said, after a while, if it goes a long green flag run, they're going to get, kind of single file, maybe get a little spread out, especially to get some, green flag pit stops in. So, like you said, at first, maybe, the excitingness of, the restarts and all, yeah, kind of plate tracky. But after a while, like you said, it's going to drive a lot different.
Yeah, and from my experience at the track, going into turn 1 is, you kind of just have to hope that the truck plants itself, because it is very easy to overdrive the corners of this racetrack. I've done it plenty of times. I've seen other people do it in this league. The corner looks so much larger than it actually is, and by the time you're in there, there's the outside wall. So it's very interesting, or it's going to be interesting, sorry, to see these drivers kind of maneuver around, because we got how many drivers we got here tonight? 32 drivers. So, it's going to be, and some new drivers from, we had join over the course of the past 2 weeks since our last race. I don't really know all of them. Once we talk about them, I'm sure we'll realize those names aren't familiar. But yeah, people that they've never driven around, they don't know their driving style, and in a track that is as difficult as Nashville Super Speedway, should be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said there, so good to see old Ghostman bouncing back. We talked about him before, actually past champ here in the league. Just not the seasons he's wanted here the last couple ones, but hey, tonight's the night. He bounces back. Looks like qualifying's come to a close. Like you said, we've got a good field here, 32 machines, and can make for a great race, can make for some chaoticness. We'll have to see how these guys, I think patience is going to be the top thing to look out for.
Yeah, you definitely want to stay patient, and especially with the tire wear, with the banking and the way you kind of have to drive the track. This track is kind of eats up tires like a cheese grater, so you just kind of have to be careful, overdriving the truck, staying patient, kind of doing what Lane did at Milwaukee last 2 weeks ago. Sorry, just not overdriving the truck, staying calm. Sorry.
And you mentioned something right there. Eating the tires up. Now that's a big difference between the other plate tracks, because Talladega, Daytona, you theoretically could probably go one of these full races without changing tires if you wanted to. Most of the time you change maybe 2 tires and that's it. Very rare, unless the caution or something happens, that you see 4 tire changes. So that's probably one of the huge difference here is, like you said, tire wear will become a factor. Track position could become a thing too later on in the race. We'll have to see. It'd be interesting there. As right now, qualifying, like I say, coming to a close, getting set to go racing here tonight, Nashville style. Ghost out front in this one. And here we go.
Yeah, and the 22 truck of Abram Gaston and Argostin and the 93 of Rob Sherwood leading the field tonight. Two drivers that really haven't had anything, I wouldn't say go their way this season. Um,
Had it up and down.
Yeah, up and down seasons for sure. Um, Rob being a dominant driver last season, really hasn't had anything come to fruition this season, and he's trying to find himself into the playoffs and try to redeem himself from last season. Because going into the championship race last season, he was one of the favorites, him and Lane both. So.
Oh yeah.
Just seeing if he can pull it off tonight, lock himself in. But there's also a whole bunch of other hungry drivers behind him. Jacob Grant in the 6, Ross Tatum in the 91, Evan Kinney in the 97, and the 95 of Matt Dyer, who I have been informed had an Uncrustable earlier before the race, and he's on fire. So
what?
Uncrustable. Like the little peanut butter sandwiches.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, or it may have been one of the
hungry
stronger. Yeah, just it would have been cool had he been in an Uncrustable truck, but that's just So that information was relayed to me by Rob Sherwood, so I just kind of had to. Oh man.
Crazy stuff.
But as I think they're about to start rolling off here any second.
They are.
32 trucks.
All right. Yeah. Camera angle here, man. Show off some of these great paint jobs here tonight. You always like doing that, but yeah, like what we were talking about. It's going to be interesting to see. This is a tractor, we probably could see a first-time winner here tonight, or obviously, the man's been dominating a lot here, Lane. Maybe Rob could finally break through. He's been so close the last couple, races. Then again, you got Ghost up there too. You got Jacob Grant too, a past champ here. He's had one of them roller coaster style seasons. The last couple, not the performances that he's used to seeing, but. Seems like he's trying. He's all of a sudden getting his little, kind of getting his feet up underneath him here, and maybe tonight can change that momentum.
Yeah, and just to go ahead and break down the playoff standings as we sit. Lane Holsler, Dusty Martin, and Jamie Horn are the only 3 drivers locked in based off of wins.
Nice.
Right now, you got Jacob Grant, 0 points out of the cutoff, but we're going green here.
We are. Green flag racing tonight. Knoxville. Well, they are in the same state. Nashville. We'll get it right here in a minute. So, out front goes Sherwood. You'll see a lot of this side by side here for a while, but like you said earlier, you're tearing up a lot of tires, using up a lot. I think this track here, just don't want to abuse them, but coming out of here, looks like Ghost going to lead lap 1.
And that was very smart by Rob Sherwood in the 93, not wanting to battle early on. You want to break away from the people behind, you want to get yourself that clean air. Right now he is tucked in behind Ghostin, so he's kind of he's kind of in that no man's land, dirty air track where you kind of push up a lot, so I think if he manages his tires correctly, like I know he does, he should be fine. But this track is a different beast, so just seeing how it plays out. a lot of 2x2 battles going on here.
I see that back here around about, from third on back. Everybody's in some 3-wide battles going on back there at about mid-pack. It's still 2x2, and then you talk about the front one there, and with Ghost too. This track here is if you're good at managing tires, probably pretty good here. So it might actually benefit somebody like Ghost's driving style, and some of the other guys who are a little more conservative instead of a little more aggressive. And talking about aggressive, we got to talk about Lane. Lane's one of those who is an aggressive driver. Can't take anything away from his skill, but when it comes to just pushing the truck, he likes pushing it. And right now, hard in traffic, not a lot he can do other than that word we was talking about, be patient.
Yeah, and he's really trapped at the moment. He's got to wait for a mistake, or he's gonna have to send it. So, and we've seen it at Milwaukee. He sent it, won the race with an excellent fuel strategy. But it's just staying patient. Don't mess up your truck. It's lap 6. Don't do anything crazy.
Eric Anderson in front of him there, man, took a wild ride almost, had that thing kick sideways. That's going to let Lane right there. And that's another thing, what you just talked about. I mean, Lane's just been patient and don't want to get caught up in somebody else's mess. Don't want to, cause your own mess. But let this thing kind of spread out a little bit, because it will. We talked about this is actually a super speedway, but it does not drive like one. Yeah, the restarts are really exciting, but it will fan out the single file, and then you just start picking them off one by one. And that's where it comes to, just being really smooth with the tires, kind of just being patient and whatnot. And you can see right there in front, I mean, obviously Lane and Eric battling out. You can also see, though, here too, Caleb, how long it takes to pass somebody. I mean, it's one of these tracks that's, unless you're just that much faster than them, it does take a little bit to get around someone.
It is a very momentum-heavy track, and that also has to do with the aero of the truck. Yeah, and that's just the way. It's just the product of the racing the track offers, and just right now, they're single filed out, which will let them start to make passes more often. As we see a battle between Tyler Honeycutt
in the battle for the lead, so we got a couple battles.
Yeah, here it is.
I mean, and there you go. That's a perfect. Here's a perfect example of those two battles right there. As we saw them all single file, and now you're starting to see it as Sherwood back there just riding patiently. Now he sees the opportunity, but you can already see though, man, how hard it is to pass. He got that good run there in the turn, able to make that pass, but it took him a couple laps to make that pass.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful pass by Rob Sherwood in the 93. Split up, Abram Ghost might have let up a little bit, not to cause a wreck, but I mean that was a picture perfect pass by the 93 truck, and that's what he needed. He needed to break free. He was putting time on the 22 truck, and now he's got the clean air like he wants, especially on a track like this. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. What's up, Michael? How y'all doing out there? Patsy, man, and whatnot, and I'm hoping Sam set. So we got Go Honeycutt. All right, yeah, I know Tyler Honeycutt's got a fan club out there. I've seen it in the past. Right now, he's up 5 positions. He's in 4th, just kind of taking it calm, cool, and collective, so to speak, as we got a caution. Steve Perry involved in this one. Let's go back here and see what happened. He's in that 21 machine, him maybe in the 14, got tangled up a little bit in the wall hard. Ouch. Boy, that'll make your nightman feel bad. Ouch.
Looks like kind of just split up, and that was it.
Yeah, two guys trying to take same real estate, and it just don't work a lot of times. Ouch. Wow.
Yeah,
it's a tight track too here. There's something else we hadn't really talked about. It's really, it's a narrow style track, even though it's wide. The groove's not as wide here.
No, it's really not. And in the corner, it narrows up. There's really not a lot of space for you to go. So
I thought everybody was going on the pits there for a minute. Everybody faked everybody out.
yeah, it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Do you think it's a smart? Do you think obviously if I'm back in 20th or 15th, why not come into the pits? But do you think it's smart for the front runners to stay out like yours? Because we do have some takers in the back going in the pits. Like I said, if you're back there anyways, ain't gonna lose much. But I think 12 in, it's time to go.
I don't think it's a bad thing they didn't pit, and I'll explain. The people that were towards the back at the current moment, they have to gain something. We went green, they fell back a little bit. They get fresh tires. Few laps, 12 lap newer tires. They'll be able to send it, and hopefully it'll balance out. But the front runners, they're fast enough to where I don't think it will matter. In the long run anyway.
Right. Well, let's see how this thing plays out. So far, it's been pretty good. A little tangle here. Caution tonight, first time here at Nashville. Clean Racing League, and now for the most part, yeah, it's in the name. I say it week in and week out. Clean Racing. So, these guys put on a very good show. And sometimes you just have tracks that are tough.
Yeah, and I know most of the drivers, sometimes, don't have time to practice, and they just come here for a good time. And sometimes things happen in the race, cautions come out, wrecks happen, sometimes the track gets better or gets the better of you, happened to me, happens. But clean racing, everybody knows what the goal is. Did Ghost pit? He's down 30 positions.
You know what? I think what happened is he went to go pit and probably got caught. He got caught coming back up on the track. I think he was at the commitment line, and he actually came across those was set to go back green. If you go back and watch it there, he came back up on the white lines. I think he got caught with a commitment line and got a penalty for that, and actually had to go back to the back. Unfortunate. I saw it right there, and I was kind of curious because there is a commitment. Once you get on pit road a certain extent, that you have to go in, and I think he was right there at that threshold because he did come back up the track across all those white lines and whatnot, and maybe that's just where it's at here. I'm not 100% sure. But unfortunately for him, back in the back, and it put him a lap down. Wow, it doesn't show he went into the pits, but it shows he did a lap down.
A very unfortunate break for this 23 truck. But lots of battles going on here. As we're back racing again, you got Rob Sherwood in the 93 leading the race, and then a very hungry 20 truck of Tyler Honeycutt looking for his first win in the series. So if we've seen him up front battling whenever he's not in the fence. So I think they're gonna see that as a shot. It's not, it's just he's been behind the wall a good majority of the season. So not from his own doing, but just getting caught up in stuff. So yeah.
Well, you know, I like this right here. We got Evan Kinney, man, who has really had a bounce back year so far. He's had a few races, been kind of tough, but having a pretty good run here tonight up here in fourth. Got Ross Tatum. He's right there in the 5th place spot. If I was a Coca-Cola fan, I still like the paint scheme on the truck. Sponsor not so much, but I like the paint scheme. I like the black and white.
So right now, the point standings, you know, a lot of big name drivers not in the hunt for the championship at the moment. Jacobs out of the playoffs at the moment. Tyler Honeycutt's out of the playoffs at the moment. Evan Kinney is 11 points back from the cutoff. Matt Dyer, he's 30-ish back. A former champ, Abram. You know, just big name drivers just nowhere in the hunt at the moment. They need
kind of shows you their up and down seasons they've had.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, they need we have 4 races, including this race that we're racing right now. 4 races until the round of 10 in the playoffs. If these drivers want to battle for a championship, they have got to keep their eye on the prize. You know, don't do anything stupid.
Consistency.
You know,
I mean, yeah. If you can't win the races, just you got to be consistent. Got to think about that. You know?
And you know, when I was full-time racing in these series, my biggest thing was points, because I knew I couldn't win every week like most of these guys. You know, it's finish its best. You know, for me it was top 5. If I can at least get top 5, then I know that I'm gonna lock myself in.
Yeah.
So I think these guys just need to stay consistent. You know, be careful on pit road. Don't put yourself back. You know, just be careful. So.
And you know, another thing is you know, we've had big fields. That's the biggest thing that has really changed. You know, we've talked about the growth of the league, the new charter system and whatnot. It has brought about huge fields, and a lot of times what that has done, you know, not taking anything away from past seasons or taking anything away from any driver out there, but what that does is if you have a couple bad races, then you're going to get behind in points, because whereas before, I think, well, we had maybe 20 truck fields, maybe 22. Yeah. Now we're having 30-some truck fields. That's 10 or 12 more positions that you have lost right there if you fall far to the back. So, like you just said, points. You know, we got contact in the back here. Oh. Let's see, that's Steven. Get on him. He keeps falling back. Steven Tuck don't stop on the track. No, see, now we'll call you out for that. That could have been avoided. So, go back and watch what happened, but I don't know what they were doing. They got side by side and hit hard. But I will say right here, this is one thing I will say that avoidable. Don't stop on the track, guys. I know what you're gonna say. I don't think he meant to, but he stopped on the track.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna say this, Caleb.
No, I don't.
And we're gonna disagree with it. That is one thing I will call a driver out in a heartbeat. Is stopping on the track. Don't do it.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no. I hated it when I raced. Like, I hated it when people stopped on the track. I really don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was a hard hit back there, by the way. That was
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I can go back. Let me.
That's right there.
Go back a little bit and rewind back some here. They were 3 wide. Okay, right. So they were 3 wide, and looks like the blue truck. Oh, just kind of a same thing as happened before with Kerry and them. They just kind of tried to take the same real estate, got hooked, and just one truck went into the wall hard. And man, yeah, caution, man. Well, let's see pit stops here. Leaders, some of the leaders on pit road, some didn't. Now here's where we're going to see. This is going to be interesting, Caleb, because here's where we're going to see whether or not, you know, we talked about tires earlier. Here's where we're going to see is track position. Let's say this is the end of the race. Is track position going to be crucial where the tires, you just run out of time being able to catch back up, because Rob Sherwood's on pit road. He's going to come out he's going to come out at least around 11th place spot. Tyler Honeycutt and company up front, so the top 10 did not pit. Actually, top 9 did not. Top 10, might say, because Nathan Brown came in on lap 12. So the top 9 all did not pit. So now it's going to be interesting to see whether or not those new tires are that much faster, and then how fast they do fall off. So this is kind of what I want to see, because it kind of gives us an idea of how maybe the end of the race could play out if a late caution flies.
I definitely do not think this was the last caution we're going to see here at Nashville. Come on, man, you gotta be optimistic. Oh, look, listen. Everyone is fighting for the same position on the racetrack. They want to improve their spot. Wait a minute, and back in on pit road. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, man. Notice that. Did you go back in? Yeah, he went back in. I don't know if he got a penalty. What's going on in there? Sorry about that. I'll let you get stalled out here in a second. That's kind of one of our top drivers, unusual for him to pit. Oh, and then he overshoots his pit box. I think he got a penalty, or hopped off a little bit, but I mean, if this is a strategy, is it a good strategy? I don't know the fuel numbers. I don't. Generally, I do. I don't know if he can make it to the end by doing that. I really don't. Well, I didn't mean to cut you off on your comment there. I mean, I just noticed over. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. I mean, he's already back there, so I don't think going back in is going to hurt anything, unless there's a wreck that he gets caught up in. Then he's going to be kicking himself. Well, that's been a really good race. Everything we thought it would be. Typical Nashville, side-by-side racing here, first part, kind of getting spread out there after they get a good run going in. And then just a narrow style track here, two trucks trying to take up the same real estate usually just doesn't work. No, and it looked like he had gotten loose, and that's what caused the incident. And the more the tires wear, and the more aggressive these drivers start to get, stuff like what we just seen is going to happen. And I think the caution would have come out either way, or it should have. I think it came out because he stopped on the track. I don't know, but Caleb I can't. Jinx jaw out here already. No. Look, listen. We have a lot of very talented drivers. Oh yeah. That are fighting for the same goal. That is to win a race. The only way to do that is to make passes and get to the front. And some of these guys are overdriving, and that's what's causing these incidents. We're going back green. And a lot of that is a thing with the track too. It's one of these tracks, it's not like a plate track where you get here. So we go back green, where you can draft and get to the front. It like what you said earlier, momentum style track. I look at it as like with the Auto Club effect. I mentioned that as an Auto Club being a track to where, as if you lose momentum, it's very hard to get to the front because everybody's running kind of the same speed, and track position become king. Again, I go back to, it's going to be interesting. You got right here, Matthew Dyer is going to be the first one on probably the best set of tires, but he's marked back here in 11th place spot, again, behind somebody. Now, I'm curious, is the track position like an Auto Club going to be the key, or is those tires going to be that much of an advantage? I think at a certain position, they equal each other out. It might be the 10th place. It might be further back. We're going to have to see. Time will tell. Yeah, and at some point the tires do balance each other out 3 wide back there. It's getting a little hairy back there. But yes, at some point the tires do balance out, and it just everyone has different driving styles. As that looked like the 22 of Abram coming back onto the racetrack, several laps down.
Unfortunate, man. Not the night he wanted. He had it on pole earlier. Got caught up. I think he got caught, man, on that pit road. Got unfortunately maybe a penalty, and just night has just not went the way he wanted it. But big battle right here. We're on that 15th place spot, though.
Yeah, and all these new tire drivers are stuck behind two guys that did not pit, and now we got somebody down low making a move. Who is that? I can't. Was that Jeremy Moore in 74?
74, yeah, 74. Jeremy
contact.
Moore, yeah, and he was one of the ones that pitted. But you can see right there, even with him pitted, it's still a tough place to pass. I mean, look at Matthew Dyer. He's only up to 7th right now. So what I'm seeing is if this is 30 laps to go, and if you're going to pit late, you better hope you get back. I think you better hope you get back up around 6th or 5th, because if you get anywhere from 10th, 15th on back, you might just run out of time before you can get back to the leader. And we've seen that before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one person I'm really worried about at the moment is the 93 truck of Rob Sherwood. He's in 22nd place,
right now, yeah.
7 seconds back. And you know what I think he's doing? I think
Saving?
he's coast. Yeah, I think he is in heavy save
right on board
mode.
with him. Yeah, because you just don't give up that. Oh, yeah, look at that. He's
There
clutching.
it is.
Wow, yeah. Good call.
Yeah,
I mean, so, yeah, I think he's looking to go now, let me throw this out here to you, Caleb. Fuel probably can't, but will the tires be worth him going the distance? If that's his game plan.
I don't think it will matter if he saves, because what he's doing is, and he has telemetry, and it'll tell him. Most of these guys in here run telemetry. Like I used to run PAPS, and it would give me a number I needed to meet, like fuel wise. And once I met that number, I was good to pretty much go full throttle. I think what he's doing is just waiting for that number to go green, and then he's going to go. And then once he's going, I think he's good, because all these guys still have to pit. If he can make it to the end, all these guys still have to pit one more time.
We were talking about the tires. Matthew Dyer has now started to come through the field, and now you're starting to see those 25-lap newer tires pay dividends. As everything kind of got spread out in single file, he's able to pick them off one by one. It took him several laps, so we'll have to see how that plays out towards the end of the race. But yeah, he's going to get past the leader, going to run him down. He was able to get out of that traffic. The next guy back, Jeremy Moyer, back here in 6th, who was able to get out of that pack also. You can just see how those newer tires, man, are a benefit. Of Becker, another one, up 6 spots. He's right there too in 7th. Let's see. Wayne Chapman III, new driver, isn't he? New to the league?
He's been here a while.
Yeah, it's okay. Just maybe a name I just hadn't familiar with, but hey, up to 9.
Yeah, so it's been a fairly quiet season. I mean, he's been up front a little bit, but I mean, fairly quiet season for the number 3 truck. And then let's see, he's battling with the 31 is behind him. James Rayburn Jr. was also another one to pit, trying to get past the 97 of Evan Kinney in 8th, who has not pitted at all during this race. Riding on board with the number 3 truck, Wayne Chapman III.
Yeah. And what he looks like here on the hood, and he's up 4 spots right there in 8th. Like you said, he's got those newer tires. Evan Kinney right behind him. Unfortunately, Evan Kinney did not pit, so might be struggling. That liquid death machine there, and you got Rayburn. He's talking about. Rayburn actually did pit. So kind of just a mix. And then you got Joe
Benelli.
There we go. Up 16 spots in 11th.
I said he joined the league about 3 hours ago.
Okay.
So he is a complete rookie to the league. However, he does have that Trackhouse number, which most of the only dads, formerly Brownie racers, I have to say that, but they run the Trackhouse numbers. As you can see the 97 below him there.
Right.
But I don't think they're on the same team. I think they just run the same number font.
Yeah, you got Nathan Brown right there. He's one of the main guys. Yeah, it used to be the Browning Racing, like I say, they call themselves the only dads. It is funny, man, to hear him do that. And again, Nathan always had some wild paint jobs. Always got a kick out of it. Another guy, man, up 8 spots. Always like, man, bringing him up, man. Fred back here, Fred Garcia. It's just a good guy. Up 8 spots there in 23rd. Just riding right now, seeing what he can get here. And yellow flag. Oh, yeah, and we got Lane Hoosler. Oh, man, are you kidding? Wow, guy we hadn't really talked much about, and it looks like he might have a little help. He almost had it saved.
Oh.
Whoa! And the man we were just talking about, unfortunately, Joe, nowhere to go. Oh, let's get another angle on that one. Wow.
It looked like he collected somebody else when he went down to
like Joe got hit. Yeah, Joe. I don't know who else. We'll look at it here in just a second. Another angle. Watching Lane right there. Just unfortunate night for Lane. Oh, yeah, had a little help by the 3. He almost had it saved. And then Joe nowhere to go. Who was that? Ride with that was Joe Canellis, I'm pretty sure. Go with where Joe is.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe. So let's see who he collected. Watch it one more time here. Yeah, man, we were just watching Joe too, having a good run. And just like that, you just never know. It's racing. Next thing you know, you're out there having a good run. And he sees it and he thinks maybe, he actually, not bad. He slowed up. Who was that? That's the 00 machine.
Of Tyler Pursley.
Oh, wow.
That is unfortunate. Yeah, and
another truck way back there in the back. I'm not sure.
There's really nothing Lane could have done in that situation. No. And you could see he was willing it, trying to save it. Just overcorrected too much, and it just happens. So very unfortunate for those 3 drivers. Oh yeah, I mean for that few hundred feet he was drifting, it looked very nice.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it just goes to show you those. It's a perfect example of what we were talking about. To us, he's one of the top drivers here in the league, and some nights, some tracks just aren't your track and just isn't your night, and just tonight might be that night for him. I'm not saying he can't bounce back, but it's going to be a tough one for him to bounce back. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, Matthew didn't pit. First one that came out here in pits, obviously Tyler Honeycutt, who actually pitted before. Getting 4 tires and fuel. Jacob Grant there along with him. So pretty much the whole front runners all coming on pit road now to get their tires. This is interesting because this kind of breaks up, I don't know, the difference between the two.
Yeah, now we got Rob Sherwood. He's the one I'm watching. Because I called what he was doing, and I want to see what the end result's going to be. He's back in ninth position. Back in the top 10.
Oh yeah.
It would appear Joshua Altus in the 94 is doing the same
quiet
thing.
Tonight.
Very quiet. Too quiet.
Don't count him out. He'll be there at the end though.
Yeah. I mean, he always is. He's
Up
somewhere.
12
He's
spots.
somewhere up there. So.
What's up, Stan?
So
How you doing
now,
out there, man? Got some Sean Stam. I hope I said that last name right. Fan club out there.
So the
Is it
9
Stan?
truck
I
of
think it's Stan.
yeah, Stan. So he is also new.
Damn the man.
Yep. So it's cool seeing
He's
these
back
new
there,
drivers.
man. That's he's up a little bit. He's been kind of quiet. But he's up our got a new paint job tonight. Check it out.
Yeah, rocking the Sports Academy paint scheme. Sponsors of the league. Sports Academy Youth Flag Football.
Yes. Yes. Good looking.
Check them out on the interwebs. But yeah, it's all the high five guys. Run Sports Academy somewhere on their truck. So it's cool. So.
Yeah. I would like to say the other sticker on there makes him a lot faster, but I don't know.
Green flag.
Maybe it's a distraction for all the other ones. Green flag, we're back.
I'd say Matthew Dyer with a big jump in the restart zone.
He needed that.
Darlings
Get away
already.
from those guys.
No, absolutely. I mean, he was already pulling away from Tyler, but Tyler did not have the tires. He's got people behind him now that have tires. So, I think now he realizes he's got to go. But I also don't know if these guys can make it to the end.
Ooh, Wayne got up the track just a little bit right there.
I would say a little bit of contact between the two there. I mean, you could probably a piece of paper between the two of them.
Yeah. That's Becker and Chapman. Unfortunately, Chapman, one kind of got right there. And we got a truck in the back.
We got a few on the apron.
Kenny?
Yeah, Sean Stam, Evan Kenny.
No caution because they were able to hold on to it, but man.
Look at Justin Carey in the 21, come back from the first caution of the night. Hard contact with the outside wall. So looks like he kind of got some of it repaired. You can still see some of the damage from earlier, but it looks like he's doing just fine right now.
Yeah, he's going to be able to, as long as he stays in that air right there, he's going to come back, do what he can do. He's up to 21st spot. Got Kyle Payne right there along with him. Sam with him too, man, Kenny, Tatum. So, this is what you were talking about earlier there, Caleb. Some of the guys outside looking in on the points. And a lot of it is this right here. You get marred back here in this backpack. There's not a lot you can do. And there's just so many more trucks here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a who's who back here. I mean, Carey, Kenny, Tatum. Like we said, we got, fortunately, Hoosler back here, Ghost. Just to name a few top runners. Marred back here in the very back.
Big move by the 68 of Kyle Payne, whipping that thing into turn 1 right there. Big move. Almost lost it.
OP machine. Yeah, right there. You got Payne. He's up 9 spots. No, Fred up 19. He's up 12. The hard charger. What's that?
I'll say right now the biggest mover is up 17 positions. He's in 7th. Bradley Murphy in the 18 truck. He's been involved in some wrecks. In the past couple weeks. And hopefully his luck can kind of turn around, get a top 10, and I think get some good points on the board.
Yeah.
You know, like we've been talking about, 4 races. Well, after this, 3 races left until the playoffs. You know, so these guys really need points to start stacking up for them if they want a chance to fight for a championship.
And right now, other than what we saw maybe a little bit earlier with Matthew Dyer and all, I'm still going back. I think track position is still a little bit better off depending on how everything plays out, because you got Jacob Grant right here who pitted lap 44 with 4 tires. Really kind of just marred back here in traffic, not been able to come through the field like you would think, like we saw before with Matthew and company. So I think how it might play out at the end of a late race caution, if you're far enough ahead, you might want to play the position game. Let's just see how it plays out.
Yeah, and you know, now that they're single filed out, you know, he's able to pick them off one by one. You know, you don't want to do anything too crazy. We've already seen what happens when you do something too crazy. You know, that's how wrecks happen. So, you know, he's just picking off one by one, see if he makes a move here, and he does. You know, and that's going to be enough one right here.
That, yeah.
Slides up, takes position away. He's up 4th. So,
right now, like you said, man, he's able to, come through the field. He's got those lap, he pitted lap 44, so he's got those newer tires. Dyer out front, Moyer right there in second. Got Becker hanging on the 3rd. Grant 4th. Chapman up into the 5th place. Rayburn hanging on the 6th. Murphy, the big mover of the night, up there in 7th. Chris Smith is up 10 spots. He pitted lap 44 himself there. He's up in 8th. Tyler Honeycutt still holding his own, pretty strong there. Remember, he pitted his last caution up tonight. Jason Alt is right there. He's up in the 10th place spot, being kind of quiet, but that's your top 10. Maybe we'll start seeing the heavy runners start coming through the front. I mean, you see Sherwood back up to 14th, Kenny back up to 11th. I mean, slowly but surely, it might take them a lot of this race to get back to the front.
And you know, with Joshua Altus, you know, in the 94, you know, he's kind of got some breathing room. He's the first car in the driver points, you know, sitting 4th behind the drivers with wins. He's 32 points to the good as it sits going into this race. So I think he's got a little bit of room to wiggle, you know. So Rob does too a little bit, but you know, the further down the list we go, the closer it gets, you know, points wise.
Oh, Chris Smith, he was up front. Go back and see what happened to him here. Side by side, he's on the inside, and the 3 again. Ooh.
Yeah, and there's that's unfortunate for Chris Smith. You know, in the 5 truck, and you know, like I was saying earlier, the 20 truck, you know, the he spent more time behind the wall, no fault of his own. He ends up in the wall again.
Yeah, watch what right here. I mean, just came down. I don't know if he thought he was clear or what. He just came down, and unfortunately Chris was there, and just I hate that, man, because he was having a good run. Chris was. So, ow. Doesn't mix up on the pit stop side of things, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm Rob Sherwood, I think I would pit for 4 tires, and you know, because now wow, Jacob Grant stayed out, ate them.
Well, he did pit on lap 44, and you see a lot of the guys who pitted on lap 44 are staying out, and it's almost like the last time we saw the guys that pitted on lap 25 staying out. It looks like we've got 2 different strategies. You got the ones who have stayed out, you know, longer, ones that's come in earlier. So about 7 different machines there 7 different drivers. Stam, Anderson, Ellis, Garner, Tatum, Kenny, and Grant all pitted in lap 44, 45. Excuse me. And everybody else had pitted on like that 25 mark and whatnot, and so forth. So on. Matthew Dyer gonna be the first one coming back out here. Gonna put him back in 8th. You just said Rob Sherwood. He went on in at pit road, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Look at Lane, back up 16th. He's still on the lead lap. Won earlier, and don't count him out of this thing. I mean, he's as long as that truck still got wheels and he can get it going, and he's still on the lead lap. You know, he's not done. It seems like this might be one of the tracks, though, here, Caleb, and it could be wrong, that's not just fitting to his maybe driving style. Struggling a little bit.
You know,
weird to say when we're talking about Lane, you know.
Yeah, I would say three-time winner, you know, coming off 2 back-to-back wins, Washington and Milwaukee, but I mean, you know, past champion as well, multiple times. So, I mean, it's hard to think that he struggles at any track.
Right.
I think I wouldn't say
his last pit stop, unfortunately, was a minute. He had a penalty of some sort.
Or he could have been fixing damage.
Could have been, yeah. I mean, it's going to put him back in 23rd. He's still on the lead lap. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. This just shows you that no matter how good of a driver, you're still human, and even the best in the world in real life. Sometimes you just have bad nights, and you know, tonight unfortunately seems like a bad one there for Lane. I will say this: maybe some of the other drivers are going, "Yay," in the back of their mind, you know.
Yes, yes and no. So, you know.
What do you mean no? I'd be going, "Yay."
Well, okay. Okay, well,
that's like you on the road course. If you wrecked on the first lap, I'd be like, "Yes, we got a chance."
I thank you, but no. What I mean is, you know, Lane's won 3 races. You know, we've had 5 races so far in the season. He's won 3 of them, right. which leaves open. Let me pull this up real quick.
Let's go off to what Rob said out there too earlier. It's like, man, look, we're just not gonna let Lane win them all. It's just funny. You see the banter between the guys out here, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think anyone dislikes each other in the league.
No.
You know, obviously people. I think people are, you know, they got the rivalries, you know, which is good. You know,
yes.
It's you know, for the longest time, my goal was to beat Evan Kinney. You know, we're riding on board with him right now as we go green.
Yeah.
But
there's second. Jacob up there too. Tatum, Garner, Ellis, top 5, green flag. I mean, you see that jump. Grant got out there too with Tatum and Kenny. Remember, Kenny earlier was marked back there. So let's see what these top 7 can do on those older tires, because you got Matthew Dyer back here. Here's where he's just got to be a little bit patient. He knows he's going to have the better tires. Just let them get single file. As soon as they get single file, just start picking them off. But, man, look at the battle behind him there. 2 wide, 3 wide almost coming through the field.
Yeah, and, you know, we are halfway in the race now. We are a little past halfway. I think everyone's kind of picked it up a gear, or knocked it up a gear, however you say it. You know, and now they're going. I think now they realize, like, okay, we've had some wrecks, you know, everyone's pitted. Some people have pitted 2, 3 times. Our top 5's only pitted 1 time. Yeah. They're on 20 lap old tires when they went green. So, you know, in the wall heavy.
Ouch. Anderson. Yeah.
Oh, and is that Matt
And-
Dyer
Flag
too?
is out.
Let's see what happened to Anderson. Again, just he got a little loose. I don't know who that truck was behind him there, but he almost got it sideways and then I don't know if he cut off on him or what. He kept going straight. Who knows?
Did he get some contact from behind and it wiggled the truck? Right
a
on
little further on back here. We'll ride with him. The 9 was there on the end, on the back of him, but I don't know. There's the 95. No, just maybe thought he was clear. They just hooked each other and could have maybe thought he was clear. Truck could have got a little tight, went up the track, but yeah, the 95 was definitely on the outside of him.
Yeah, and
Fortunately, Matthew Dyer. And that takes us back to right there. Two top trucks, two top drivers. Again, big names, problems tonight. This track is, maybe they should put this track in the playoffs here. Probably thin the herd. Like on these problem child.
So Eric Anderson either took he either took 2 tires or just fuel on that last stop. It was 6 seconds. Matthew Dyer had taken 4.
That's fuel.
That's fuel. So that was the product of no tires versus 4. And it's unfortunate. You hate to see 2 good drivers like that taken out.
Yeah.
I think the 31 got caught up too. Let's see.
Yeah, he bumped in the back there. Go back. I'm not sure who the third one was, but
I think it was the 31 of Dave Rayburn.
Yeah, looks like it was 31 machine. Yep, he had nowhere to go. Boom.
Yeah.
Punched the back in and Ford's smoking.
I don't
Not
see
smoking.
anything.
He might not be too bad, but I don't see it smoking yet. Not to mean
He's
it didn't hurt
definitely-
him. He hit the front end pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going in there, 100+ miles an hour, it's gonna do some damage.
Oh, absolutely.
So, very interesting here by our top 5 still staying out. I think they've
I
kind
think they're
of,
looking for just one more pit stop.
yeah. I'm a little curious on what Rob Sherwood's strategy was, because if you could pit when he pitted, topped off on fuel, and if he was saving to go to the end, why would you not pit now and then just try to go to the end?
Well, he's gonna give up a lot of track position, and I think, and it goes back to what we were talking about before, and I get what you're saying. He really didn't make up a lot of ground, and we haven't really seen anybody make a lot of ground unless you were like right where he's sitting at in 10th place. But he would probably fall all the way back to 20th, 21st if he did that. Maybe a little further back, give or take 1 or 2. Can he make that kind of position up? And then 2, you got to worry about, I don't want to get caught up in somebody else's mess. We've seen that tonight. We'll have to see how this plays out. Pitted at lap 61. Everybody else up there at the top 6, they pitted lap 44. We've seen after a while, if it gets spread out, the newer tires benefit. I'm curious though, does he go the rest of the way here? Obviously there's another caution late. I'm gonna say he pits, but if this thing goes green, what do you think, Caleb? Does he stay out?
I think the only way it makes sense for him to pit is if we go
Can we
another
go
like
60
20.
laps here, by the way?
I don't know. It's the one track I don't have fuel mileage on, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
So I generally I do that. I just didn't have time, unfortunately. Um, if he can go 20 more laps, and there's another caution, everyone's going to pit, because then we're gonna have about a 25 lap shootout to the end. Everyone's gonna want fresh tires. Everyone's going to pit. So we'll just see what happens. Pace truck pulls off. You know, we got Jacob Grant 6, and the 91 Ross Tatum leading as they go into the restart zone. Big jump by Jacob Grant. 3 car lengths already. 4. That's big. Like he's out there. Riding on board the 27, Brendan Gardner here, 15 positions.
Yeah, you see Grant, man, getting that jump out there with Kenny. Tatum's there with him. And, look at old Stam. All right, y'all calm down out there, fan club. He's up 19, up to 4th. Garner right there at 15, it's in 5th. Ellison up there in 6th. Altice, he's up 15. He's the first one on those newer tires, so let's see what Joshua can do. And again, we'll go back to, what I was talking about earlier. Joshua, one of them drivers that you don't see him a lot of the race, and the next thing you know, boom, there he is, and you're like, well, where'd he come from?
Yeah, it
out of nowhere.
The top 6 all last pitted on 44. All of them took 4 tires. As it sits now, what?
I mean, you can see right now, even though those new tires, I mean, they're on the newer tires, just how difficult it is to pass here. I mean, he's not just coming blowing through the field. It's still taking him a little bit. I didn't want to see that. It'll take him a little bit just to pass these trucks.
Yeah, and I mean, but that also goes to show, it's the level of competitiveness within the drivers in the series. Just not giving it up. 20 lap old tires, compared to the iRacing.
Yeah.
Albeit, the old tires has a preferred line, but he did end up getting passed, but he's got to pass 4 more trucks, I'm sorry.
I think now will be the thing we'll see these new tires pay dividends. Now everybody's single file for the front ones here. Now he'll start maybe just, he drove it in there hard that time. Yeah, wow. Almost. That could have been disastrous. But, yeah, I think now you're going to start seeing it with him. Everybody's single file. Didn't have to really go side by side. Nobody in front of him side by side. Might just start picking them off one by one. Same thing with Rob Sherwood. He's cleared them. He's got a good battle going on behind him back there with Garner and Becker. Becker, he's on the newer style tires. Unfortunately, Garner on the older set. Still holding strong on the outside. Got Chapman there with him. Let's look. I'm going to tell you, it still don't count this guy out. He's up to 14th. Yes, he's not had the night he's won. Spun earlier, caught up in a little mess. And but he's up to 14th, and he's definitely bounced back. That's old Lane.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's got any engine damage. I don't think he hit that hard. I mean,
We'll
but
see.
he's definitely
Motor looks like it's running pretty good right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping pace with everyone that hasn't had an incident. I just don't think he can get by them.
He did pit in lap 45. So he is running on one of the older style tires, but just goes to show you, being able to persevere, stay in the running, stay right there in the mix. Unfortunately, though, where you have guys that might have a bounce back here tonight and have good runs, you got guys that haven't. And the first one there being Eric Anderson, who had a pretty good truck earlier on. Matthew Dyer, we just saw Ghost putting it on pole. Tyler Honeycutt. So just to name a few, and those are some big-time names. Justin Carey, another one back there in 21st. Just those guys right there. Unfortunately, we were talking about points. not a lot of time to make up. And if you have a bad race like this, you're way back there, 20-some position. That's positions that, I don't know, you just can't make up. And kind of curious here, Caleb. See, this is what I wanted to see, really. What those tires up front would do. And Altus right now not closing the gap like I thought it would. And his last lap time, yeah, he was faster, but the fall off, now that time he wasn't. Actually, Grant was, man. You know, some clean air too is going to play a factor here too. I mean, we haven't really talked much about that. iRacing does a great job with the dirty air. But, you know, Altus right now with even those new tires is not making the ground up that I really thought he would with the guys up front. So I'm going to stick to my other plan that if a caution comes out late and you get marred back in 10th or 15th place spot, 20 to go or so, you might just run out of time trying to run down the guys up front.
Yeah, and you know, another one we should be paying attention to. You know, you also got Rob Sherwood. You know,
Yeah.
I know I keep bringing him up tonight, but he's making moves back there. You know, about 2 positions back. He's on the same tires Joshua Altus is,
And more. I mean, more is on the same tires right there with him. It's showing. Yeah, it's just showing. I mean, the top 3's on the older tires, and everybody behind them's on new tires.
Oh, contact.
Ooh.
Pushed him up really high right there.
Ah, gotta love it. It's good, exciting racing. Now you see Altus right there going around 3rd place, but yeah, I just got to go back to if this was like 20 to go or so. This battle right here, I mean, Grant would be like, yeah, I'm gone. Because you've seen how long it's taken Joshua to just get up to 3rd. And Sherwood and Moyer for that matter. I mean, don't count Moyer out. He's actually on those new set. And I don't think we're done with pit stops either. Kind of curious on what these guys up front pit strategy is now. Are they banking on another caution here, Caleb?
I don't think they're gonna need it. I mean, you know, they're holding their ground.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets there, the tires may have balanced out.
I mean, that last time Joshua ran a 30.98 to a 31.13, which is, you know, it's a little well over a tenth, not quite 2/10, maybe 10th and a half.
Yeah.
There's a 1.2. Well, my bad. 8/10, 7/10 between the two, so he is catching him up front, and he will get there before the end of this race. So then that's going to bring that question back up again. I think there's too much time on the table right now for Grant and them to hold him off. So do they need that caution?
Yeah, I mean, they're eating a 10th into him pretty much every lap now. What lap are we on? 85 going on 86?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be as bad.
This might answer our question. Lane's on pit road, Garner on pit road, Ellis on pit road.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this might answer our question here of can these guys go the distance? I mean, yeah, Tyler, man, I hate that out there for you. Sometimes, man, you definitely did have fast trucks. Sometimes, man, you just have bad nights. But yeah, this right here might actually answer some questions for us here, whether or not these guys up front can go the distance. Now let's play a little devil advocate here, Caleb. Let's say that Jacob Tatum pits, caution comes out. Does Altice and them pit then? Because they're going to give up a lot of track position.
At that point,
that's a good one.
they are going to have no choice.
Okay.
I mean, I say no choice. Well, at where we sit right now, you're looking at about a 30 lap difference in tires. Yeah. That's pretty large. Like that's a pretty large amount of time, especially within tires, because I mean,
17 lap difference. Between the top two in all times.
Yeah.
He pitted at 61.
But,
the other one's at 44.
Oh, I'm talking like if they pit now. Like,
I got you. Yeah. And then I'm with you on that one. That would. I mean, right now, I will give credit where credit's due. Jacob Grant ran that last time identical time. So did Tatum. Tatum ran. So it was a 27-26, 27-30. It was the top four. I mean, wow. So that right there is kind of telling me the fall off on the tires are pretty huge too. And if you can get past that point, then maybe, yeah, because look out here now, you know, Altice was coming to the front, so was Sherwood, and they still probably will, because now that last lap they actually made up a lot of ground. So I know what happened. I don't know what happened the lap prior, but go back to that running out of time. I still think though there's too much time, and Grant's on pit road.
Oh, that is.
It's interesting
now. So now you got three teammates battling for the lead here. Ross Tatum in the 91, 94 Joshua Altus, and the 93 of Rob Sherwood. So what does Tatum do here? Does he let Rob go?
Yeah, I mean, but he's got to pit. He's a sitting duck at this point. You've got to pit. Now this brings up the question: is does Grant have enough time to get back to the front? Because he's going to be back in 17th. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if it goes green the rest of the way, no, he does not. Grant's going to need a caution to get back up to the front. Because he just went a lap down right there. So that even tells me even more. Yeah, I mean, again, Joshua, Sherwood, doing what they do best. Pitch strategies. I've seen it time and time again. They are some of the most calculated when it comes to teams and stuff.
Yeah, and that's just the style that they drive in, and if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So
we ain't gonna overlook Stam. Stam's actually doing pretty good. He's up 15 spots now.
Yeah, I mean he is the last car that pitted on lap 44.
Yeah. That's gonna hurt him, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have to pit soon. To for the fuel and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just we just got to talk because you brought this up earlier. Some of the guys outside looking in as far as points. Evan Kinney right there, Lane, Grant, Tatum. Look at them. They're all now laps down, 14th on back. Again, just the strategy and pit strategies have put them behind the 8 ball. They're going to need a caution now to even get back in to this thing to try to have a shot because Justin, Sherwood, and pretty much the whole top field, they're not pitting. They're going the distance. I mean, matter of fact, let's ride with Sherwood. We saw him clutching earlier. Let's see if he's clutching again. Or he just has enough fuel that he could go the distance.
He's
good.
He's trying to win, and I think he's good to go to the end here.
But do you push it hard now, or do you wait maybe a little bit longer to try that win?
I don't think he's going. I think he's going, but I don't think he's going fully yet. I think he's seeing what, because albeit they are teammates, I don't think they're telling each other what they're doing. I think there's a point in the race where it's like I want to win. Well, no, I want to win.
That's the thing too. Is I'm sorry about that. It's the thing too, like Caleb. But like iRacing it. I know I always talk about it's the realest thing without real racing and spending millions of dollars to go real racing. The one thing I would really love to see, and you just mentioned that right there, and what caught my attention is talking to each other. Now I know in real life they do have some team channels and they could communicate, but from my knowledge, driver to drivers cannot talk to each other in real life. They could relay a message to their spotter, to their crewman, and they could talk to each other. From my understanding, there's no way that car to car could talk to each other. That's something I would like to see iRacing. If you wanted to be the realist, even when I race, sometimes I turned off the iRacing chat because I didn't want to hear everybody else talk. I relied on my spotter, and I relied on me being in the team channel, like, you know, the Discord channel with everybody else. So maybe I was a little different. I wanted to take it one step further on the realism, but it was interesting you brought that up.
Yeah, and you know, I know the Pro Series, like the Coke Series, the iRacing, like the official one. I know that they only talk to the spotter and crew chief. They don't talk to other drivers unless it's through the chat, the in-game chat.
Right.
So.
And I like that. I wish a lot of leagues would do that. I mean, it would bring really interesting theirs. We've got pit stops up front. Moyer, Chapman, Beck, Brown. Now this is interesting because it's some of the guys who pitted at the 61 mark. Wow. So what's up, Honeycutt? What lap did the top 4 pit? Lap 61, Tyler. So can tell you if they can go. They pitted in lap 61, so let us. Actually, yeah, Tyler Honeycutt would be able to tell us because he's been out on the track. Do you think Altus, Sherwood, Martin, right? And well, now Rayburn pitted at lap 68. So did Chris Smith pitted lap 68. Tuck at lap 61. I'm seeing a lot of these guys pit now, so I'm kind of wondering, can the top 3 go? But Tyler, you tell me, is the tire fall off going to be too much for us to go 24 more laps? Because that is a pretty good distance here at this track. It's not a small track. Or do those top 3 need to come on pit road? I'm interested to hear what Tyler has to say on that one. What do you think, Caleb? I'm kind of up in arms on what to think now, because if they pit now, I think the race is done for them. Could be wrong, but 45-ish on a full tank.
Yeah,
so then by your calculations, no, Tyler, they can't go the entire distance. Because if they pit at lap 61, there's no way.
All right.
That's interesting. I mean, Caleb, I don't know.
Well, Jacob Grant just got his lap back. And he's moving. So as it sits right now, he is the provisional leader.
And the problem, and what I was just saying here, if Altus and Sherwood pits at this point, along with Martin, because he's the other one up there, they're done, because Grant's going to go by him, take the lead, and they probably going to go a lap down. We've seen it here with green flag stop. So if Tyler's telling us right out there, 45-ish, even let's say 50 laps, they pitted at lap 61. I know I'm not a mathematician here, but 61 to 125, that's over 60 laps. They're not making it.
Yeah, no, there's no way, unless they work some magic and put extra
Tyler
fuel.
said they shouldn't have a chance to make it to the end. So Tyler, you say that they might have that 0.333 chance of making it. Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, whew, it's interesting.
We got Dustin Martin pitting now, 105 in the pits.
Nope,
Here comes
there we go.
Rob Sherwood, 93.
So this answer our question right here. I believe Altus will bring it in the next time by. Let's just see what this does to them, though. I'm going to say this. Now, obviously, Chris Smith is going to take over the lead. He pitted at 68, and I still don't think he's got enough to go the entire distance. Tuck's still out there who pitted at 61. He's going to have to pit. I mean, Altus is pushing this thing. But you know, and I know, the more he just pushes it, that's just that much more. Sherwood drops down to 6th, 7th, 9th. He's going to be, This is, they needed a caution. I said before I thought Grant and them needed the caution. But that was before I saw how this was playing out. And hey, look, sometimes it throws me a curveball up here. How it looks on paper sometimes doesn't work out. Wow.
Yeah, and this is only because Ross Tatum in the 91 was very close to Jacob Grant. Like I'm talking like less than 0.5 of a second. He was on Jacob Grant's bumper. Now with the way pit stops have played out, he's 1.7 back from our provisional leader. And I'm going to say provisional leader because by the time everyone pits, he will be in first place. If there's no caution.
The good thing with Joshua is he's got a 26-second lead. At this point, I think Joshua's looking for a caution. I mean, we want to see it go green. It's a clean racing league. If he does not get that caution, yes, because we just saw what happened to Sherwood. Back in 14th, obviously a lap or so down. Even a caution for him right now really is not going to help because he'd have to take the wave around. That's even if a lot of the guys up front pit. That's another thing about the wave around. Everybody has to pit, from my knowledge. So, yeah, I thought the pit strategy was there. Evidently, bit him.
Yeah, and generally when drivers see there's several cautions in a race, they start to become reliant. And yeah, I guess it kind of got him tonight. Yeah. Albeit we still have 15 laps left, 14 laps left now. But
you sure there's not a possibility, Tyler, that he can go the distance?
I know you're asking, Tyler. I don't see it.
I don't either.
Yeah, because
Chris is on pit road.
Yep.
I mean, let's ride with him and see if he's. I mean, he's obviously slow on the track. Yeah, it looks like he's coming in.
There
now.
It is. Yep.
So giving up that lead, unfortunate right there. I mean, because that's. And I think this right here has just been the story of the championship, trying to get into the playoffs, missed opportunities. Just you've had the trucks, you've had the speed, just not been able to do it. Grant's going to go right by, take over. Joshua's going to fall back to 5th, 6th, 7th. He's going to drop on back a little bit. He's coming out now. Not going to be too. Yeah, I thought he wasn't going to be too far back, but he went all the way back to 12th. So, yeah, he's going to be marred back to 14th, 15th. Wow. For Jacob's sake, I hope not. Well, now you got Rayburn, who pitted at lap 68. There's a 12-second gap between him and Grant. So my question there is, with 12 to go, does Rayburn have enough to go the distance? 78, 88, 98, 108, 118. He's got to go over 50 laps.
I think he's another one that's kind of banking on a caution here. He also had a contact earlier in the night with the incident with Matthew Dyer and Eric Anderson. So the front end's kind of caved in on the truck. So I think he's just trying to see what
he's got a good looking frog on the side. I like the frog.
The frog would be nice.
Yeah, ribbit. If I can't get a better shot of this.
Oh, he's pitting now.
He's pitting now. Okay, but look at that frog right there, folks. I know I get all excited over little things. I know. Well, that's going to hand it over there. You were talking about it earlier to Grant. Out front, masterful, man, pit strategy here tonight. I thought earlier, that maybe his pit strategy had bit him. But then again, that's before I knew that, Altus and all them couldn't make it out there. Tatum up there in the second, having a good run. Evan Kinney has bounced back. Man, look at that. Back up to third. And then look who's in fourth. Wow. This is just a perfect example. Yes, we know Lane is probably the baddest dude right now. He's won every darn thing you turn around. But this is a product of just don't give up here tonight. This has been a miserable race for him. And he's just kept trucking. And it's got him in fourth right now.
Yeah, and excellent recovery. The incident with the 3 truck, getting into the back of him. I kind of thought that his night was done with the way he hit the
Yeah.
wall and then, the way
And look at
the
Stan.
trucks kind of piled in. Yeah, making moves. First race with the league. Um, Tyler, I've noticed what Tyler's saying because I've been keeping an eye on it. Ross Tatum was 1.7 back about
He's got
10
newer
laps
tires.
ago.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
those newer tires. Yeah, he ran a 36 to a 50 that last time. Like you say, he's down to 9-10. Let's look at the number. 8 laps to go. Here's the thing with that, though. He's 9/10 back. Even at the pace he's running, he's going to run out of time catching Grant. Grant's going to have to really make a mistake. He needs several tenths. And right now, he's only picking up maybe a tenth and a half here and there. That last lap there was a 34 to 52. So even though he is faster, and this is a perfect example of what I talk about a lot, Caleb, even though you might be faster with those newer tires, it's just not the time. You run out of time. And that's not going to help him right there, that lap truck going by, because that slowed him down back to 1.2 seconds. So, yeah, he's just going to run out of time, even though he's faster. Gotta give him credit. Look at Rob Sherwood back up to 3rd. How in the world? Wow. So, he's gonna come out here with a good finish. Not going to catch the leader, though. I just don't think he's going to have enough time to catch him.
Pitted on lap 106, 13 laps ago.
Yeah.
14 laps ago. Excellent recovery from him too. I don't really know where's Joshua Altus.
He's 4.2 seconds out.
Yeah.
The thing is, that last lap time really hurt Rob. I mean, now he got out of that traffic. He's really picked it up. He ran a 31:12 to 31:48. Grant's really picked it up. So, with a 3-second gap, no, not with what, 5 to go here. He needs half a second times to run Grant down, or Grant to make a mistake. Now can he catch? Well, he might catch Tatum. Either way, to bounce back to 3rd here, my hat's off to Sherwood.
Yeah, and it's going to be an excellent points finish for him.
But again, no win. He's been so close, so close.
Yeah, he wants to win. He wants to get it locked in. The points are nice. To getting you there.
Well, he should be in there, shouldn't he, by points? I mean, because he's had some heck of finishes.
Yeah. I mean, he's 20 points to the good, and this is only going to help. But this is going to knock him down a spot, because if Jacob wins, that's going to lock him in. Jacob was on the outside looking in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this
he's
is
like
this
one
is
of the,
going
he's
to,
at like the one dude, man, RCR then, huh?
yeah, but I don't think he's gonna wreck anyone.
No, he ain't gonna wreck nobody. Yeah, we ain't gonna wreck nobody. We're good. We'll put him more closer to the Wood Brothers guy. Just won the last one there.
So we're coming to 2 laps to go here.
Yeah, Jacob out front, big. Tatum right there in 2nd. Sherwood doing really well here in 3rd. He is closing. He's at 9/10. He'd really have to get there. Look at old Stam up to 4th. Good night for him. Yeah, white flag one more time here. Nashville. Kenny there in 5th. Lane up in the 6th. Chapman up to 7th. Moyer 8th. Nathan Brown having a good solid bounce, good run here tonight at 9. And Joshua Altice been able to pick it back up in the top 10. He might be able to get a few more positions for this over. But Jacob Grant, right there, the man, coming out 3 and 4. He's going to do it here tonight. Good pit strategies, good truck all night long, stayed clean. Ross Tatum going to come home in 2nd. Rob Sherwood, hey, good bounce back, good finish for him, had a good truck, good solid strategy for him. But Grant locked himself into that championship. Man, it's going to be interesting. Well, we'll bring Dan up here. Bring up old
For the playoffs, maybe we can get a win. I doubt it, but we'll try.
Well, we'll be
ask on the one of the pit stops there towards the end. You got behind, you got laps down. Was you kind of worried that you were just going to run out of time getting to the front because it all kind of cycled around and played into your favor?
Nah, I knew once about halfway through the race, whenever I pit, I knew that I was on the correct cycle to win the race as long as the cautions fell the way they did, and as long as the caution didn't come out on that long run there at the end, which fortunately it didn't. I knew it was going to be a battle to try to get back to the lead lap just in case the caution did come out, so that was all I was worried about until then. But once I got my lap back, then it was just trying to maintain the gap but not push too hard between Ross and everybody else behind me.
Absolutely. Like you said, man, just one of them things. How was the tire fall off? Because it looks like we thought, man, those guys are going to be able to run you down. And then it kind of just evened out a little bit. So how did you feel like the tire fall off was here tonight?
Honestly, the tires really only made a difference if there was like a 15 to 20 lap difference. Yeah, maybe 5 laps was a little bit quicker, but if you could hold your line and you had enough speed in the beginning of your run anyway, and you took care of your tires, people with 5 to 8 lap newer tires, that they weren't just going to blow by you and pass you and take off from you. So the tires really weren't that much of a thing. I still had an extra set in pit road, if that tells you anything.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, like you said, it was a good race, good night tonight for you. Got you into the playoffs here. So I know that's something, man, you can think about going on down the road. But you got anybody you want to thank for this awesome win?
Yeah, first I want to thank my loving girlfriend, Caitlin. She supports me and watches me every single week, which is awesome. It helps out a lot. And I love going back and talking to her about it because she actually pays attention and talks about it, and it's pretty cool. So also would like to thank you for putting on a broadcast, Caleb for helping you, and the league for everything that everybody in the league for everything that they do to keep it going, Chris for running it.